I'll say a senior at work. Um, Somebody who is what you call a manager, if you want to say, so to say. But as a doctor, you know, a more senior person than myself. Uh, I contributed a bit, yeah, to a situation that stressed him out, to an extent. But he reported me. The guy chose to report me to somebody in the management. I don't want to tell the entire story. I want to bring something out of the situation. So when that happened, he did it with impunity. What I mean by that is he literally carried me to the management or somebody in the management and um, reported me to the guy, and some warnings were meted. I was warned, cautioned, if you do this again, this will happen, that will happen. Okay, let me just say my phone was not my number was not reachable for certain reasons, and it felt like it was irresponsible for me to be at work and not have my number reachable. So he reported me for that. And I was thinking to myself, this guy is reporting me because he wants this 9 to 5 system we're working, you know, to work. He wants it to work. Or better said, he wants his own work to be easy. So maybe I made his work a bit difficult for him. So because of that, he had to report to me so I can make his work easy. And I'm looking at these types of behavior as some of the reasons why this 9 to 5, why the concept of 9 to 5 still is human beings that make anything alive. We are the ones who decide if a business will remain or fail. It's money now. Money is the lifeline. Money is the blood the business runs on. The life literally of every business is money. So and the money we're talking about is human beings. When human beings come to a place, no, let me rephrase, not money now, sorry. Human beings coming to a place, not money. You know, the presence of human beings in a place, or the presence of the activity of human beings. Let me say it like that. So, not even a human being present. The fact that a human being is interested in something, or a group of people are interested in something, or a couple of people, that is what keeps everything that is alive. Organization speaking, business speaking. So, the reason why some of these um, work structures still exist is because there are people who will report anybody who goes off the structure. And if my life will change, if his life will change, we would need to leave the structure we met. Survival is working in a structured environment. So you will always have food to eat till you die. But living is what it sounds like, which is doing why you were created. The reason why you were born and you will die. So all the activity in the middle is figure out why you were born and contribute it to this system you met, this the world you are born into before you die. So I like to think about um, birth as problem this person was brought in to fix this problem. You know, God saw a problem on earth and sent Mister Whoever you are that is listening in now here to solve that problem for us or contribute to solving that problem. It may not even be a problem, it may be something God wants to do on earth. And he needs a medium. Because human beings that operate this space is controlled completely by human beings. So he needs a human medium to get it done. So he brings somebody into the system, which is you. So your job is to now, you showed up here, you're supposed to also, in connection to God. Of course, when we talk about God, most times people take it to the religious side of things. But the ideas that come to your head, we talked about that yesterday. The ideas that come to your head, um, when you're in the toilet, for example, usually before mobile phones showed up, we used to be distracted when we sit in the open with our friends at work. So a lot of stimulation and conversation keeps going on, usually going on. But when you go into the toilet, you're there by yourself. So a lot of thoughts. You're now sitting by yourself with your thoughts at that point. So some instruction comes to your mind in form of ideas, in form of all kinds of. So I like to think that that is God talking to you. Again, with ideas, go and start this thing that is not existing already. Look at this edit to what you're already working on. Look at, I like to think it's God giving you those instructions. And being in tune with the voice of God in this context is not even about doing a particular set of activity. It's not about doing a particular set of activity. It's more about acting on ideas you have. So the more you act on the ideas you have, the sharper your ideas receiving center becomes. You know, because appreciation for what you've received is of an opportunity, for example, is using the opportunity. That's how you appreciate an opportunity, taking advantage of the opportunity. So I've veered off a bit. So going back to what I was saying, if we make any sense out of life, we'd have to stop working 9 to 5. It's as simple as that. So whether an entrepreneur is shooting on 9 to 5 workout, we are inside 90. We work. I work in 9 to 5. A couple of us, a lot of people are not happy working. A lot of us are not happy. I'm a passionate person for care of people. So if you listen to my voice, see my videos where I talk about health, where I do information, education. When you listen to me, you can tell that this person cares about, but delivering care to you through a structured environment, in a place where somebody has to tell me when I will show up, in a place where somebody has to tell me how to, you're almost telling me how to communicate. You're almost wanting to control how I communicate, you know. And I have a lot of knowledge about psychology and how humans process information. I understand that people are at different levels of intelligence. People whose IQs are higher process information slightly different from people who have not very high IQs. So I know how to have a conversation with somebody so I can communicate to them at the level they are and they get information. Because correct communication is when the person you're talking to understands. So if you're very stellar and very excellent with talking, but a lot of people you talk to didn't get what you said, you've not communicated. So have those understandings. And I work in a space where this strength of mine is very important. When you teach somebody about their health, after you've managed them, prevention is better than cure, it's cheaper than cure. And you've helped somebody come out of a problem they got into health wise. And now teaching them to try to prevent what it is. You want to go with a voice that will cut whatever it is, assuming it's a habit that's created the problem. But you can't even pass that across if you cannot make the person understand what you're saying. So I have some strength around that. There's somebody who was taught, because when you go to medical school, the assumption is that you don't know anything. So they don't only teach you information, medical information, and science. You're also taught how to communicate. An attempt to teach you how to communicate with patients is made. But when you look at those things, again, those things were reverse engineered from people like myself who already have the natural gift of communication. So they took people like myself, listen to us talk with people. Now took the thing we did, of course, looking at the end result we got, and now try to understand what happened there, why this talking style is more effective than, and then brought it to schools to mass produce me. That's what happens. Something works, is taken by the people who create some of these academic systems. They now try to break it down to the science of it, so that everybody can now have an attempt to make everybody have that gift. So I understand the benefit of that. You're trying to create multiple me's because I'm a very good communicator. But guess what? I now walk into a system where the communicator, the person you took his whatever, is there physically, and you're still trying to panel beat him into the whatever it is you built. You're trying to do. Okay, let's say that Lionel Messi walks into a football academy. Guess what happened there? That's what the Football Academy does, Nabi. They take young talent, or the young talent go there, whatever it is. The person tries to teach you to play professionally. But some of the biggest footballers we watch, we are not even they are not football academy grown players. So they were picked up from the street, and then depending on how lucky or not they were, they landed in front of our TV screens. You see, so you bring Lionel Messi into a football academy, you're trying to teach him to do what exactly? I'm using Messi, I assume he's very popular. Or there are people, children, they show up, somehow they can play music, they know how to draw. I know when I was much younger, I know you have children that could paint. They will paint a whole landscape of, and they didn't learn it from anywhere. It's just there. The person walks into an art school. I'm trying to teach him how to. What are you trying to teach that person? That's the teacher of the class. You know. So I have the gift or the ability to um have some ability in that communication. I even love to. I know people who talk to patients 5, 6. They are exhausted. They feel like they need to rest. I can talk to 3,000 patients in a day. I'll just be hungry and maybe just naturally tired from talking and using energy. But I will not get exhaustion comes from doing something you don't have strength to do. You're trying to you get what I'm saying? You don't have the strength, like you're not gifted to do something. Okay, you're trying to play football, for example, and you're bad at you do not play football in your life. And you're supposed to do that for 5 hours every day for the next 2 months. You're going to that's beyond physical body. It's now mental body. Becomes mental punishment after a certain point. You know. So I'm gifted to communicate with people. I don't remember time when I have to discuss. And it's even better when I have to help somebody with something I know very well, I understand very well. And then their eyes light up when they now know something they've not. And in the moment when they realize, wow, I've never thought about it like this. I live for those type of moments, and I get a lot of that. So somebody wants me to fit into a box so that, in their opinion, I can do what I already know how to do naturally better. But that's not even what I want to bring out from this video. What I'm trying to bring out is the fact that if this person ever in his life wants to live life, wants to live the reason why he came here, you're not here brought here to come and work for somebody and leave the system the way it was built when you met it and not cause any problem and then die. That's not why you came here. You came here to contribute. If contribution includes bringing the world down, bring the world down. If it means the world killing you, that is why you came here. The death you are scared of, everybody will still get. You live to 100 years, you die. You live to 20 years, you die. You end up dying. Death is constant for everybody. That's the only thing that's promised. Everybody dies. So what is the fear for death for? Why are we scared of death? Who even Where did we get that information about? I saw a video by Charleston White after, I think it was Kevin Samuels that died, and he said, who even told us death is a pattern? How did we even where did that information come from? We naturally miss people that die because we're here. But who even told us death is not even part? I think he mentioned that death is part of life, and I agree. Birth is there at the beginning of life, death is at the end of life, and everything in the middle is life. So you show up here, you don't live, and you're scared of death at the same time. You show up here, you see things that another man built, a group of people sat down and developed, and they put all kinds of stops, put a hammer on top of your head, and ask you to sit in that space like that for almost the rest of your life, and then earn a pension at the end for being an obedient boy. And then you do that, then they make you a supervisor of people who have to do the same thing. Then when anybody tries to go outside of a box that you didn't build, that you met and made the manager of, you go and report the person immediately. And the person is probably beat back into order, and then you people continue like that till when you're old, then you retire from that box, go and stay alone in your lonely space with your family. Of course, you don't have a wife again because you are always at work and you didn't have time to spend with the person who probably cares about you more than your boss. And then you lost that relationship because communication is the bloodline of relationship. So you go back, you're now lonely with of course, the pension and gratuity they pay you depending on where the society you live in or where you live in and what those gratuities and pensions actually um, how it works in the space where you are at. So if you live in some corrupt nations where somebody even embezzles the diamond, then you worked for nothing. But that's not even where I'm going to. Where I'm going to is if for any reason the person gets stuck. Again, that is also the source. Sorry, I have to keep veering off because some thoughts are hitting me as I'm talking. You know, a lot of us adults we struggle with mental health issues because of this same thing. You're doing something without paying attention to it. You're responding to just survival and your some instincts to have food on the table. And then you ask, please, what can I do to eat this evening? And somebody tells you to um just go here, open the gate, go inside, remove the grass on the floor, pour it in this other box, and then I'll pay you $10. I say just that, yes. Go into this gate, open it, pull the grass from the floor, pour it inside this container, then come and take $10. And then you go and do that, pull it, go and take $10. Then you do that, you are like, okay, I think I need $50. I want to get a shoe. You now pull more grass, pour it in the container more, and get more than $50, and you then buy whatever. And then you think about, okay, I think I want to build a house. You now pull much more grass. So you're working purely for the money you're making. So but now again, pulling grass and putting in a container is not even necessarily the job a human being should be doing. You know, that type of work was made for machines. But you keep doing it because you are told you will be given some money. And then because that thing is not supposed to be what you're supposed to be doing, you start developing some health issues that may include mental health issues depending on the environment. So if you're put in that space also with other people who are supposed to be pulling grass, and now you have to deal with those people whether you like them or not. People again, look at how people are living marriages. These are two people who were not even forced into the same space. You are allowed to choose your spouse. You moved around in the social stratosphere and saw somebody, talks to them, had time to date them, decided to marry them, and you people still decided not. You people still agreed to not continue. You're in your workspace. You don't have nobody's. You're not given that privilege to choose who you work with. You're given who to work with, whether you like person or not. So it's even more toxic. See how toxic marriage relationships become to the point where people divorce and say that even when they have children together, they say they can't continue. Look how toxic that space can get. And it's a space where people create about you voluntarily. You loved the person at one point. You people even had intimacy to the point where you had sex with yourselves multiple times. You know yourselves and still decided that this is toxic and broke it up forever. That's what a divorce is. But you're working in a space every day again with somebody who you never had the time to decide whether you can work with them or not. And you have to do so. When you're in that type of space, little wonder everybody's struggling with mental health issues because you have to put up with that person whether you like it or not. You can't divorce them except you leave your job. You can't. You have to put up with that boss whether. So again, we were not designed to work in these types of spaces. But because we put ourselves in that place and we have made money our king and we look at money so much to where we are scared of losing it. So you are now supposed to not be able to feed if you don't come here every day to work with this person you don't like to work with. So when you do it long enough, you break yourself and then start having your mental health starts bleeding. You know. So you call it depression because you're not paying attention enough to what's going on to know this is what the source is. So it's giving a name depression. And it's a chemical imbalance in the brain that's a chemical imbalance. When the actual thing that's going on is that you're fighting your own self without knowing. Because you're looking at something, money, and you want to get it by any means possible. Anyway, whenever a person wakes up and they decide to now go after why the reason they were born, clearly you're not born to work a 9 to 5 and die. That's not why you were born. And there's nothing wrong with the 9 to 5 in and of itself. But there's everything wrong with in an attempt to be alive, you go and do something that is robotic. You're doing a job a robot, a machine should be doing. You're opening gate and closing it. That's not why you were born. That's people show up like that to come to work. What their job is to open the gate and close the gate, and open the gate and close the gate. So when people work for certain people, what they do is open the door of the car. What do you call them again? You come down from a vehicle, you're driving. You come down, you open the whoever is and close, and you have done that since you're a young person till you became old. Professional at opening door and closing the door. Closing the door and opening the door is not something. So that's not why a person was born. That can't be why you were born, brought on earth to open door and close for another man. That can't be why. You may be born to assist somebody else. It's possible, but I don't think you are born to be opening somebody's door and closing it. But because that's a rich person, you think you're paid higher than every other person, so you choose to be opening and closing the door, and through it, and not even pay attention to the real reason why you were born. But I'm saying, if there is at any point a person decides I've had enough, it is me that you reported. It's me that you reported that you're supposed to build that life you have now decided to live with. Because at the point where you want to start to make attempts at those things you think you are actually born to do, at those types of points, usually, you're not able to pay people in the beginning sometimes. Sometimes it's relationships you start with. So if it's a business, you're starting with, help me do this. Let's come together. Let's pull resources together. You're trying to work at the lowest cost possible. And you're doing it with the same people who are at your workplace, who you probably have chemistry with, or who you may not have chemistry with. And people are supposed to work around a lot of compromise. People are supposed to understand and work with you without having to charge you so much, or not charge you at all, and hope that this thing grows so that you people can, you know. But you were not, when before you woke up to realize that there is another side to the world. While we were working where we were working, you had the emotional strength to attack me a lot so that the system will not fold, so that the system will not suffer. So you didn't mind losing the relationship you had with me. You didn't mind not having a relationship with me at all. You are fighting for a system you met, you know. So by the time you want to now attempt to build a small system for yourself and your family, you've lost most of the relationships you would have used to do that. So you build an even smaller one with only by yourself and with your blood relatives, if they have the time. But you are put in a space with 15 persons, 17 persons, and you are their supervisor, you are their organ. And you didn't bother to be nice to them, to be different, to where they are like, this is the best boss we've ever had in our lives. To where you can always call them up anytime because you are completely nice to them all the way through. And being nice doesn't mean you don't punish them. Adults who mess up with deserve punishment already know they deserve punishment. When you punish somebody that deserves punishment, they are not even upset with you. To make it better, when you don't punish somebody that deserves punishment and they know, most times they punish themselves before you even meted the punishment out to them. They appreciate you even more. So it's not even, so what we're talking about is not don't punish anybody. What we're saying is you're conscientious enough to where you do want to be the person the MD uses to punish anybody. Because you understand that this person you're about punishing could be your business partner in the future to build an alternative system for yourself and your family. But what we do, managers, co-workers, you don't care about the person you're working with. You don't care. And that's what has made the environment very toxic. You do, and when you're about to now try to build something for yourself and your family in the future, you have to now pay with your blood because it's your siblings you bring in. You don't have any relationship that is not your blood relatives. You didn't build anyone. And you had people around you all your life. You've been outside all your life. You worked every single day of your life. You can't even call up your co-worker to do anything for you that you not pay them for. Because you don't have there's no compromise is currency. You don't have that um you didn't make that investment to where you can withdraw it later. You did not. You are just being a boss all along, being a supervisor all along. You think your job is to not smile at the people who are under you. You think that's why you are employed. So your executing the hell out of that assignment. You're making sure that you're not smiling because to you, when you smile, you start brooding indiscipline in them. So that's what I was thinking about. I wish you thought about it like this. I wish you thought about it like this. You don't mind if I'm angry, if I'm hurt by what you did, you don't care. So long as the Oga sees it like you're doing your job, you're really disciplining these people who can trust you with this thing we have asked you to do. You have reported like 3, 4 people who have used you to punish this person and punish this person. And then all the people you're punishing are looking at you like an enemy. That's how it works now. There's very few self-aware people that can say, okay, it's not really him, it's the management that asked him to do it. But the other person is upset. They are feeling pain, and you're the person that made the pain. So to them, you're an enemy. And then when it's time to do other things that are not working at your job, again, when you want to now help yourself and build a system, an alternative system that would create wealth probably for your generation. When it's time for that, you will not even bother calling your colleagues or calling those people because you already know you don't have anything with these people. You already know. God forbid that I meet people in my life and I can't call them up when I need help. And this is people I spend time every day. That's what we're doing now. You go by 9 in the morning and come back by 5. You claim you love your wife. How long do you spend with your wife? You claim you love your family. How long do you spend with them? Then who are the people you're spending all the time? All the time of your youth and prime with people at your job. 9 to 5 is how many hours? 5 is that's 5 hours plus 3. 8 hours. 8 hours. When you take 9 o'clock till 5 o'clock and take it away from the day, what is left? What is left is darkness. It's time to sleep. That's what's left. It's 1 hour till everywhere is dark. And once it's dark, even the not human body starts slowing down and wants to go to rest. So your active time of the day you spend with a particular group of people, and it's not your family, it's not your children. I'm talking about people who work 9 to 5. And you do this every day for years. And then when we come to the place you're working, it's toxic. It's unhealthy mentally for you. And you contributed to creating that environment and the rest of you who are in that space. And then when it's time to get help, these people you spend time with them every day. You can't even ask them for anything. You can't ask them for anything because the kind of environment you created around that place. Let's do better. Let's do better. We are human beings. Again, I like to use this popular name. I don't know who is listening to me, where you're listening to me from India, from wherever. I've got wherever you're listening to me from. But everybody, a good number of them know Elon Musk. Elon Musk. That's one man. One man who is putting people in space when that's what he's designing. You go to space when you want to with Elon Musk. And he's doing again, he has a chip. You have Alzheimer's, some of these neurogenetic diseases where you lose some of your cognition function. He downloads your brain into a chip. When you have a disease that you don't do anything to deserve the disease. It happens to you because you're genetically predisposed. Your great grandfather had it. He puts that chip back and you get back almost every ability you have until when you die. That's what one man is doing. That's the and I'm not saying there's nothing excellent about Elon Musk. The capacity Elon Musk has, all of us have it. We were made with the same material it was made of. It's one brain, 2 nostrils, 2 eyes, 2 ears, one kidney. It's the same material. We are all made from the same material. We are all cut from the same cloth. All of us. Of course, tendencies, proclivity to do this, you know, it's slightly different for everybody. But we all have the ability to solve problem. All of us at different scales. And what I did with my own is to be doing something monotonous every day. Look at the type of things we do at work now. Have a look. Have you thought about the work you do? Just look at it for what it is. What's the quality of that work you do? Somebody's a cashier, you're taking cash. You're at the cash point. People buy things, sneakers, they come, they pay you. You take, thank you very much. The person comes, welcome, thank you very much. Welcome, thank you. That's what you do from morning till night. And you're doing it for 5 years. And the reason you're doing it because you want to put food on the table. And you have been eating now. And why are you putting food on the table? So you'll be alive to do what? To come in the morning again and say thank you, goodbye, thank you, goodbye. And that's what you do till you get old. Or you change to somewhere else and do something similar to that. All you're doing thank you and goodbye. You're not your colleague. You don't care whether they are sick, whether they've eaten. What you know is, do your work, please. And the person, for any reason, maybe they are going through something. They have a heartbreak or they lost someone, a loved one. You don't care who they lost. I beg, come to work. Oh. Don't leave this thing for only me to do. You don't care. You don't even bother to say, okay, Okay, don't worry, let me do this one. Don't worry, you can go by, I'll cover you here. Since this is the issue. When you do that, adults, when you do something adult, don't forget. People can be crafty, yes, but not everybody is crafty. You do it for 5 persons, all of them will not snake. Then you do it and you're in that type of, you're mentally like that. You convert everybody that is at work to brothers, to family. You can close that whole place down. You can live with all the staff in that company and go and and that's what these systems and the people who build them understand. You can't work together now. So they don't even want to talk to your colleagues. Don't when you're at work, you're at work. Don't use your phone, don't keep everything. Just work. We'll be God forbid you people work together. That's what happens when people work together. Another system will be built immediately. And it's worse when there is love. Relationship that work the work relationship is love. It means the system will never fail. When love is at the middle of it and people are chasing something together and with love inside them, it's impossible to not get that. This is the formula that has kept the rich rich and the poor poor. Is this formula? The same formula. You see them. Have you not noticed that all the bosses and all the rich people are nice people? Whenever the boss shows up, he's not frown. He's greeting everybody. How are you? How are you? How are you? When the manager shows up, he's one frown. And the manager that's the poor one. The manager is a poor man. Of course, the people who is managing are also poor. So he comes with a frown, teaches you to frown. Then you frown with your all of you are frowning at that level. But every time the owner comes, he's being nice, shaking everybody. Guess what? Another Oga, owner of another multinational, and see them when they meet, see how they are. Everybody knows I'm no problem. Let me do it. No problem. No, you have to. And you see what they're doing. A lot of cuts, a lot of all that, and then they break bread. But at the level, the poor people who are living to eat, what they are doing there is tearing each other apart, hitting on each other. So at the level, at that level. So it's the formula. For you, if you want to come up, you do what the people are up to, and if you do it, they think they need. That's the problem. The people who are the rich think they need people to be poor for them to remain rich, and that's not correct. The whole job those popular do for you, AI can do for you. The job those popular do for you, machines can do for you. You know, they are finding out now. But you, Mr. Poor Man, look at the character of the rich. Look at how they make sure that relationships stay intact. Look at how they'll tell you contacts, relationships, connections, the people you know. That's how they keep saying it. They know that's the formula. Poor man, you think money is everything. And they'll give it to you now. They know if they bring money, you show. So they'll bring money. But the rich man is interested in, okay, he wants to know if this person is happy. This other partner is happy. They are thinking about the things that actually keep them where they are. They know now. They know it's one check and something that went off comes back on. They know. The poor man does not know. The poor man thinks it is all about money. If you cannot get money, there's everything you're doing doesn't make any sense. It's easy for you to report your colleague. Easy for you to polish your colleague. Somebody you're working, your the boss of. It's very easy for you. You don't even think you do it and you feel good because you have this complex inside you. You've carried for long. So now they've given you people to project on. So you do it so with ease and express the dark side of you over them. And then when it's time to now do something else that's not working 9 to 5, you don't even know how to approach. You don't even know how to tell this people anything. Anytime we're ready, as yeah, I don't belong in the masses already. See the way I think, so I don't even think I belong here. It's a matter of time. But anytime we're ready to leave this group called the masses, when they say the 1% of it, a lot of people who will listen to this may not agree with it. I hope you're in the 1%, you know, because again, the larger group of people, when they agree, something is probably not wrong with that message. Yes, it's when the message is a bit, then you know that's the message that's 1%. 1%, how many? That's very few people. So whenever a truth is being said and many people agree with that truth, sometimes that is not the truth. Sometimes, yes, So anytime we are ready to live this level of life, then we'll bring love back. will bring compromise back. Will bring, and I mean by compromise, I mean you're disciplined, but there's humanity in the discipline. People were not made for the law. The law was made for people. So when it's time to show humanity, the law can be bent a bit. Yes, these laws were not made by God. We made them. We sat down, deliberated, agreed, and said this will be the law. And every time you see people adjust those things, you see a lot of adjustments happen. You see a lot of amendments happen to even constitution. And as human beings also amended it. What is amendment happening for? What are we adjusting it for? We're adjusting it to fit us. Let's do better. I'm preaching. I'm if I start the conversation that leads to the conversation that leads to us improving, that would be a good one. Just saying, let's do better. Let's do better. If we all come together, all of us, if we all come together, of course, we'll be unstoppable. As in, what else is available? Before these machines become organized, yes, their machines can go to the point where they will overwhelm one beast. It's possible. But before that happens, if we come together, guess who controls the machine? It's human beings now. Now they're trying to build machines that can control themselves. That's the artificial intelligence and the what's this other one that is higher than the natural language computing. This other one. I forgot what they call it. They're trying to develop all that. You know, AGI. Is that what they call it? AGI. You know, before they get to that level, the person who is even developing is a human, and then another human, and then another human, and a group of human beings come together, and the string that attaches all of us, the gel that puts all of us together is love. We will get everything we wish before we even want to do. Just wishing it is done. It's done. And you know the power of love. You know how powerful love is. Let's do better. Let's do better. For our generation's sake. You want to create generational wealth. You doing it with your family members. So it's good. That's good. But that's how you came now. You opened your eyes to a group of people who are your family, your brothers, your sisters, and then you started life. And then somewhere in the middle of your life, people you still have are still those people you woke up to. Then you've not grown. Those are the defaults. Your sister, your mother, your father. That is what you default came into. The work you've done through your life is relationship you build. So when we show up after 20 years of being alive or 30 years of being alive, we're able to see a group of other people who you collected by love, who you collected by adding value to them. And they're like family. Yes. If all you have at the end of 30 years of being alive for 40 years is still family members, then something is foundationally wrong with you. You should you should look at yourself more. Let's do better. Let's do better. Mr. Manager, Mr. Supervisor, Mr. Senior, whoever you are, the people you're calling, you think you're subordinates, those people are your staff in your own company. Yes. Those people are your partners in your own company. You're not thinking like that. You're seeing them as the opportunity to show power, your opportunity to live the dream wickedness you've had in your heart. All of us have it now. Everybody has one small darkness in them. Instead of working on your own, you're looking for where to express it. And now they're giving you opportunity to express wickedness. And you're doing it with a hate station. No, it's the mental program you are born into that made you show up in a poor environment, you're already born poor. So all the programming that happened while you grew up has already happened to keep you poor. So what you're doing default that thinking is you're creating a system that will chain you forever as a poor person. You're doing without thinking. You're just going off of how you feel. You're not thinking about what you're doing. When you think about what you're doing, you cannot say, no, let me do it the other way. So your default state is poverty. You stay at the level you met the world, and then your children open their eyes into poverty, and then their children open their eyes into poverty. You know, it's easy for a rich man's child to be rich. It's harder for a rich man's child to be poor. That's how it's also harder for a poor man's child to be rich. And it's not even from external forces, it's from internal forces. It's mental programming. That is what you grew up from. Again, people who try to break these things down, they say the brain is in theta state, theta, from 0 to 8. So whatever goes into your brain from 0 to 8 years old controls most of your life. Because that state is a download state. If you check, that's when you learn the language you speak. That's when you a lot of things. You know, it was in that small window. So most of us spent our theta state in poor environments, and when we were brought up in the way of the poor. So hatred is, you don't love. Is that love in poverty? There's no love in poverty now. Poor people really love their family members. Really show love to you. That's what poor people do. But go to the house of a rich man. Every day, human beings are in that place. They are giving people gifts. Do you understand? You were born into a space you are poor. You learn to keep safe, keep it for the rainy day, keep it, hold it, don't give it to anybody. So it's stinginess. That's what it is. That's what you open your eyes to see. People keeping things, hiding things, saving, trying to hold it so that it will not finish. But the person who was born into a rich man's house, you will see their parents give people things in seasons, sometimes every day. Some people are at the door and they are sharing food. They're trying to share. They are putting clothes together, sharing. They are doing scholarships. They're trying to pay. They are giving to, what do you call it, charity. That's what you opened your eyes to see. And these are the same principles that keep the money in that generation. So it looks like so family, they've always been rich. So family, they've always been rich. And then call your own family's name. You've always been what? What? Say it by yourself. I'm not the one that say it. It's an internal system that has sustained that thing. And you're expressing it every day in your workplace, Mr. Manager. You want to know the system that kept you poor, that brought you to where the system that created the environment you were born in. Is what you're doing now. And you didn't learn it anywhere. You have been programmed to be that thing. So if you must come out of poverty, you would have to work against your nature almost. Poverty is a nature. Believe it, don't believe it. But see how difficult it is for you to become rich. That's how difficult it is for somebody to go out of their nature. It's like trying to swim faster than a fish. You're not a fish by nature. So it's very difficult. You may end up getting it if you're disciplined enough and you practice long enough. It may be possible. But look at how much effort it will take you. That's the same way. It's very difficult for a rich man's child to become poor. Very difficult. Even when they are wasteful, you know, the principles they know without learning keep them afloat almost every time. So food for thought.